Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to reveal something that most men never see coming. The subtle language women use when they're about to test you, manipulate your attention, or even play with your emotions. And before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video because what you're about to hear could completely change the way you understand women, dating, and power dynamics in relationships. Let's start with the truth. Women are not always upfront about what they want. They operate with layers of strategy that are instinctual, emotional, and sometimes almost invisible to men who think they understand them. And here's the hard part. The very words she says to you might be a doorway into her intentions, whether she wants to pull you closer, push you away, or see just how much control she has over your mind. The problem is, most men hear these words and think they're compliments, advice, or casual conversation. But every phrase has a deeper meaning, a hidden challenge you're being invited to navigate. The first phrase I want to focus on is something deceptively innocent. I don't usually do this. On the surface, it sounds casual. She's signaling that what she's about to do, whether it's giving attention, showing vulnerability, or flirting, is rare. But here's the kicker. This is a test. It's designed to make you value her attention more than your own calm, measured self. Most men fall for it immediately, trying harder to impress or to earn what's already being offered. The correct response isn't desperation, it's measured intrigue. You acknowledge it, but you don't overinvest. You stay grounded. You let her know that her rarity is noted, but your self-worth is never hinged on it. That's where power begins to shift. Next, there's the phrase, "You're different from other guys." This one sounds flattering, right? But it's also a trap. It creates an emotional high, a subtle sense of exclusivity that triggers your desire to prove she's right. Men often respond with overcommitment, extra texts, overplanning, trying to impress. The smarter play is quiet confidence. Acknowledge the statement without inflating it into an obligation. Stay consistent in your standards. Notice how these words are not just words. They're hooks designed to draw emotional investment while masking real intent. Understanding this is the first step toward controlling your own reactions and breaking free from invisible manipulation. You'll notice, over time, that women repeat these phrases in different forms. They test your boundaries, they measure your reactions, and they decide how much energy to give based on how you handle these moments. Men who recognize these patterns stop being reactive. They become discerning. They learn that words are rarely just words. They are signals, and signals require strategy. Now let's uncover the next two phrases, because if you miss these, you're playing right into her hands without even realizing it. The third phrase you'll hear often is, "I'm just not sure about us." This one is almost a classic, but its effect is devastating if you react incorrectly. It triggers panic, insecurity, and that inner voice telling you to fight harder, text more, or beg for reassurance. The problem is, most men take this as a challenge to fix her feelings, instead of recognizing it for what it really is, a test of your emotional stability and boundary strength. Women say this when they want to see if you crumble, if you'll chase, or if you maintain your sense of self, regardless of uncertainty. Your power in this moment is your calmness. You don't need to over-explain, apologize, or overcommit. You acknowledge her feelings with maturity, but you don't let them shake your foundation. You validate, but you do not surrender your frame. The fourth phrase is subtle, yet lethal in its psychological pull. "I'm fine." Sounds harmless, right? But in the context of an argument, a miscommunication, or even subtle tension, this is often not what it seems. It's a smokescreen. It's designed to make you question your perception, doubt your instincts, and scramble for clarity that may never come. Many men spend hours overanalyzing, sending texts, or trying to coax the truth out of her. But here's the harsh reality. "I'm fine" is not a question to answer. It's a boundary to respect, an emotional space to navigate with tact. Your best response is measured awareness. You note it, you don't escalate, and you allow her the space to reveal herself on her own terms. Panic and overreaction are exactly what she's testing for. Calm composure is what shifts the dynamic in your favor. What most men fail to see is that these four phrases, "I don't usually do this," "You're different from other guys," "I'm just not sure about us," and "I'm fine," are not just sentences. They are emotional triggers, carefully crafted to measure desire, attention, and obedience. And if you respond with neediness or uncertainty, you hand over your influence without even realizing it. But if you respond with clarity, emotional control, and strategic patience, you take back the power that most men unknowingly surrender. Recognizing these phrases is not about cynicism. It's about awareness. It's about seeing through subtle manipulations so you can operate from a place of authority rather than reaction. And here's the truth. Women instinctively test men this way because they are wired to seek stability, confidence, and unshakable presence. Once you understand the patterns, you stop being a puppet to these words and start becoming the man who navigates relationships on his terms. Let's go deeper now, because knowing the phrases is one thing, but understanding why they work is where most men completely miss the game. Every word she says is layered with unconscious triggers designed to test your confidence, gauge your emotional stability, and measure how much control you hold over your own mind. Take, "I don't usually do this," for example. This phrase isn't about rarity, it's about creating scarcity in your perception. Scarcity makes your brain overvalue what's being offered. Men instinctively lean in, chase, and overcompensate. But here's the truth. Her attention is not a currency you need to earn through panic or effort. It's something you navigate with calm, unshakable presence. By acknowledging it without overreacting, you signal that your value is independent of her fleeting actions. That is magnetic. That is power. "You're different from other guys" works the same way. It feeds your ego while testing your boundaries. Most men respond with overcommitment, proving her right that they are different, but in the worst way possible. Instead of excitement, it often leads to emotional exhaustion. The right approach is subtle validation paired with consistency in your standards. You never inflate the compliment into obligation. You remain anchored in your identity, showing that while her praise is noted, it doesn't dictate your behavior. Women are drawn to that kind of stability. They crave a man who notices, appreciates, but doesn't overreact. That's the silent power move. "I'm just not sure about us" is where insecurity becomes your biggest enemy. This phrase is a litmus test. It's not necessarily about her feelings. It's about measuring yours. Most men respond with fear, texts, and frantic attempts to fix uncertainty. But when you stay composed, you demonstrate emotional independence. You show her that uncertainty doesn't destabilize you. You accept ambiguity without panic, which paradoxically increases her desire to commit. Confidence isn't loud. It's quiet, firm, and consistent, even when the stakes feel high. Finally, "I'm fine." It's the ultimate test of perception. It's meant to confuse, frustrate, and make you overanalyze. Many men treat it like a puzzle to solve, but the truth is, it's not a puzzle. It's a boundary, a space where she's measuring your reaction. The best response is strategic observation. Respect the boundary, stay emotionally grounded, and don't seek unnecessary validation. The more you resist the pull to panic or argue, the more you demonstrate emotional authority. Here's what all four phrases share. They're triggers disguised as casual speech. They measure fear, desire, patience, and self-worth. Men who react emotionally lose influence. Men who respond strategically gain respect, desire, and the kind of magnetic presence that women subconsciously seek. Understanding this transforms the entire dynamic. You no longer chase, you navigate. You no longer react, you lead. Now let's get tactical, because understanding these phrases isn't enough if you don't know exactly how to respond in real-life scenarios. This is where most men fail. They hear the warning signs, but they don't have a method to navigate them. Let's start with, "I don't usually do this." You're in a moment where she's giving you rare attention or vulnerability. Most men respond with overexcited energy, excessive compliments, or trying to earn more. That is exactly what kills attraction. The correct response is simple: subtle acknowledgement, paired with calm engagement. You validate her uniqueness, but you never make it the cornerstone of your self-worth. Smile, lightly tease, or mirror her energy without escalating your emotional investment. This shows her that you notice, you appreciate, but you're not desperate. You're the prize, not her attention. When she says, "You're different from other guys," It's an ego test wrapped in emotional currency. The instinct is to prove her right, to invest extra energy into being even more different. Don't fall into that trap. Instead, respond with quiet confidence. Acknowledge the compliment without inflating it. Shift the focus back to shared experiences or a subtle action that reinforces your presence. For example, a short, confident nod or a simple "I try" can do more than pages of overthinking or attempts to impress. This demonstrates emotional stability while signaling that your self-worth doesn't hinge on her validation. That is the subtle art of influence that most men never master. "I'm just not sure about us" is where patience becomes your weapon. Your first instinct might be to chase, to beg for clarity, or to over-explain your feelings. None of that works. The right move is to remain emotionally unshakable. You acknowledge her uncertainty without panic and continue to live your life with clear boundaries. You remain available, but not at her beck and call. She is observing your ability to maintain composure under ambiguity. That calm authority creates subconscious respect and desire. When she sees you don't crumble, she starts associating your presence with emotional stability, a rare trait that triggers deeper attraction. Finally, "I'm fine" requires self-control. This is designed to confuse and provoke overanalysis. The mistake is reacting emotionally, asking questions, or trying to pull out the truth. Instead, respect the boundary, maintain your composure, and redirect your energy to meaningful actions rather than words. By staying grounded, you shift the power dynamic. She begins to recognize that you are steady, emotionally reliable, and unaffected by manipulative testing. That's magnetic. Every one of these phrases is a test of emotional authority. Your ability to respond strategically, not reactively, turns her subtle manipulation into an opportunity for attraction, respect, and long-term influence. Men who master this don't chase, they navigate, they lead, and women, almost instinctively, recognize that difference. Now it's time to take this to the next level. Understanding the phrases and responding correctly is one thing. But if you want to truly elevate your presence and make her respect, desire, and even fear losing you, you need to understand the deeper psychological strategies at play. This isn't manipulation, it's mastery over your own energy and awareness of how women instinctively respond to it. First, let's talk about the energy behind your words and actions. Women are wired to detect insecurity instantly. Even a slight hesitation, over-explaining, or neediness signals that your self-worth is negotiable. When she says, "I'm just not sure about us," your reaction doesn't just communicate your thoughts, it communicates your identity. Men who stay calm, confident, and consistent send a message far louder than any words. "I know who I am. I am not shaken by uncertainty. My life is not dependent on your approval." That silent, steady energy is magnetic. It's what makes her feel drawn in, curious, and even challenged in a way that creates desire. Next, understand the principle of selective engagement. Not every word, action, or emotion requires your energy. When she says, "I'm fine," resist the urge to dig or demand clarity. Instead, observe, note patterns, and respond only where it matters. This selective engagement trains her to respect your boundaries and signals that your attention is valuable. When your energy becomes scarce, it increases your influence exponentially. Women notice scarcity, but they notice calm, unshakable confidence even more. Another strategy is leveraging contrast. When she says, "You're different from other guys," you don't overreact with proving yourself. Instead, subtly demonstrate it through behavior, not words. Maybe you remain composed while others panic. Maybe you maintain your social life and goals while she tests your loyalty. The contrast between men who crumble and men who stand firm creates intrigue. Women are instinctively drawn to the stability and power you embody without overtly showing it. Finally, emotional independence is the ultimate amplifier. She will always test, probe, or push boundaries. Your reactions dictate the level of attraction and respect she feels. By staying anchored, grounded, and intentionally present, you convert potential manipulation into fascination. You become a man who doesn't chase, doesn't panic, and doesn't react to games. Instead, you navigate, observe, and lead. That is the kind of presence that women instinctively desire but rarely find. Mastering these strategies turns her testing into a stage where you control the energy, pace, and dynamic. You are no longer a participant in her games. You are a conductor of your own emotional orchestra. Once you understand this, the phrase, "I don't usually do this," or "I'm just not sure about us," no longer scares you. They become opportunities to demonstrate unwavering strength, emotional clarity, and magnetic presence. Now let's bring it all together, because knowing the phrases, understanding the triggers, and mastering the strategies means nothing if you don't internalize the mindset that makes it permanent. The men who succeed with women aren't the ones who memorize lines. They are the ones who embody a presence so steady, so grounded, that no subtle test can shake them. This is the ultimate game changer, emotional authority. It's not about controlling her, it's about controlling yourself, your reactions, and your energy. Once you do that, attraction and respect follow naturally. Start by fully embracing the principle of self-worth. You are not defined by her attention, her approval, or the words she uses to test you. Every time she says, "I'm fine," or "I'm just not sure about us," remind yourself that these phrases are reflections of her uncertainty, not a judgment of your value. Men who internalize this don't overreact, overanalyze, or overcompensate. They respond with composure, which in turn creates curiosity and desire. This is emotional gravity, the invisible force that draws women toward men who are grounded and consistent. Next, integrate the principle of boundaries into every interaction. When she says, "I don't usually do this," or "You're different from other guys," your response is measured, calm, and respectful of your limits. You acknowledge, you don't inflate. You appreciate, you don't overcommit. Boundaries are not walls. They are signals of strength and self-respect. Women are subconsciously attracted to men who maintain them because it demonstrates stability, predictability, and confidence. Also, understand that patience is your secret weapon. These phrases are designed to test your immediate reactions. The men who fail are reactive. The men who succeed are strategic. They observe, assess, and respond in a way that reinforces their frame. Over time, this patience becomes magnetic. Women instinctively recognize a man who does not bend under pressure, who does not seek validation, and who is unwavering in his identity. That recognition fuels attraction far more than charm, looks, or temporary gestures ever could. Finally, embody emotional independence in everything you do. Your thoughts, your time, your energy, they are yours. You do not surrender them to testing or manipulation. When you live this way consistently, these phrases lose their power. They become signals you interpret, not traps you fall into. And the more you embody this mindset, the more women respond with genuine respect, desire, and loyalty. Remember, mastering these 4 phrases is about transforming yourself first. Calmness, clarity, and self-possession are not strategies. They are a way of being. Once you internalize this, you are no longer reactive. You are magnetic. You are the man women instinctively want, respect, and fear losing. That is the ultimate truth, and it is yours to own.